You're mocking me?
No, I'm not mocking you. It's Mocking With You, the podcast that settles the debates once and for all with your host, Lil B, and the hater.
Hello and welcome
It's that time again.
It's that time again. Welcome to the Mocking With You podcast. We are bringing you our defensive linemen and our edge rushers this week. Last week we had finished off the offensive side with the offensive tackles and interior offensive linemen. So we're bringing you the big nasties again this week on the defensive side. And let's go ahead and get right into it here, Chris. And let's start with our interior defensive linemen or our defensive linemen, how you view them. And I'm going to go ahead and start. I don't think this is a shock to anybody, even though with his legal troubles on the outside right now, definitely at the combine, Jalen Carter is the obvious number one defensive player or defensive lineman in this draft.
Yeah, pretty much. That's mine. I won't tell it. It's mine too. I mean, you don't have Jalen Carter as number one. It's because of his wrist, how fast he looked.
Yeah, that's one thing.
How slow he looked. How lazy he looked. But you know what? He's just in underwear. He don't have a helmet on yet. I'm not worried.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's again. We're just watching what we can see. We're not in the front offices of any of these teams, but it was concerning a little bit to see Jalen Carter at his pro day. I mean, that is your time after not doing anything at the combine. That was your time to show all the teams, hey, I'm here and I'm real and I'm still going to represent and show.
And maybe the pressure of everything that's going on is getting to his head and it's messing with him. But will that affect his draft stock come the draft? We'll see about that.
Yeah, definitely a lot more needs to come out of these the law situation. I don't think anything's been dismissed yet. I know he
didn't play no contest too.
Yeah.
And got community service.
That's about what you thought he was going to get. We knew it was never going to be jail time, but it is. Let's see how he reacts from this situation until the draft. That's going to be the big thing about Jalen Carter, how he interacts with these teams when he goes on these top 30 visits to all these teams. But let's keep it moving since we both had Jalen Carter at one. I'm going to move on to my number two, and that is Brian Breeze, or however you want to say his name, from Clemson. Brian Breeze, the defensive tackle from Clemson. He was very he's massive. He's a big human being. He's like 6'8", 300 something pounds. The dude is big, and it shows on tape. I can understand. I definitely understand why the scouts are frustrated with him, because you can see it from early on to the season to late on the season how he progressed, or regressed, I should say, not progressed. So, but he just has all the metrics and the measurables to be a dominant force for any team, if it's a 3-4 or 4-3. And a lot of teams don't really even just do a regular lineup anymore. If it's a 4-3 or 3-4, they're almost every team out there is a hybrid of some sort now with their defense. But Brian Breeze, I like him a lot. He brings a lot. He brings pressure. He has to get his motor better. I was a little worried about his motor. I don't think he had the greatest motor, but I did like a lot what I saw. And I do think he could be a dominant force from the interior side of the football and the defense. What about you, Chris? Who do you have at two?
Brian Breeze is not hard. This is one of the best run defenders in the draft. And I'm talking at end position.
Yeah.
Anytime you watch this guy, he's in the backfield crushing the running back. How can you not love that?
Yeah.
Because if you can stop the run, I'm going to give him a couple moves to get to the quarterback if he was this close to getting to the quarterback. And he's this close to being a top 10 pick if you can get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, that was his. I don't understand why he's fallen down the board, because he was considered a top 10. I mean, I know the quarterbacks have been flying up the board, but people are having him in the 20s now. At the beginning of the draft process, he was considered a top 5, top 10 pick lock, and now he's fall into the teens and 20s. So it does confuse me a little. I mean, he did have 9 career sacks. He had 3.5 this last year. He did have 5.5 tackles for loss and 15 total tackles. I mean, he definitely doesn't have the stats, which is kind of so. But I think he is 6'5", 300.
Yeah, it is a massive.
And again, he's a run stuffer. You're not expecting him to put up, but he can get to the quarterback, which is nice.
But he can just learn a move that would really.
He has things you can't teach. He has the size and he has the ability. So you just like you said, now you can teach him the things you can teach, the moves, and my favorite part is he can read the defense. He never just went downfield. He would stop at the line and look to see where the ball was going. Oh, okay, the running back's going. Now that's where I need to go. Or the quarterback, I love his awareness of the field. So, all right, moving on to number 3, who I love, and I know you're going to love, and I wouldn't be shocked if we're 3 for 3 right now, and that is Tui. I'm not going to say his last name. You can. The USC defensive tackle or defensive lineman.
Yeah, I'm not going to say his last name either. It's Tuli, and that's all I'm going to say. Tuli. That's what we're saying in the stands with the total perspective.
Yeah, I don't
Tuli has all the tools, by the way.
He does, and I remember watching the game. I think it was Oregon State where he dropped back a couple times, and I'm like, and he was moving around like
he dropped back in coverage. He kind of reminded me of another guy last year, Wyatt. Who dropped that in coverage, and he was a good guy. Wyatt, Wyatt.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying you mean the Packer Wyatt, Devontae Wyatt.
Yeah, Devontae Wyatt. Yes, the Packer Wyatt. That exactly like 10 Georgia players last year.
We love our Georgia guys. Yeah, Tui, I mean, and he gets to the quarterback. He had 12.5 sacks. So, I mean, you can argue he can be on the outside defensive tackle or defensive end. He's not an edge guy. He could be. I mean, he didn't have the moves. He doesn't have any crazy moves, but he gets to the quarterback.
He's going to be a defensive end in like a 4-3.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, a 3-4.
Yeah. I like Tui a lot. I would love for him in the Packers. Apparently, some scouts are saying he's not going to – don't be shocked if he falls to round 3, and I find that confusing.
That's preposterous.
Yeah, that's preposterous. It really is. I love Tui, and I'm excited. I didn't expect going into watching him to be like, oh. Like, he just jumped off the tape. Like, every time something was happening, it was like, oh, well, okay, there's Tui. It's Tui involved somehow. I'm really excited. He's another one. Like I said, 12.5 sacks from the defensive line position. That's nice. I mean, none of these guys have a double-digit sack besides Tui, and that's something that you don't find often. And definitely excited to see him and where he goes. I know we're both going to be hoping the Packers or the Chargers take him on draft night.
Yeah, come on.
All right, so number 4, I don't get the hype. He seems like a workout warrior, and his tape doesn't impress me. But I do have him at the top 4, and that's Kalijah Cansey from Pittsburgh. He's small, which you see it on tape. He gets locked up a lot by an opposing offensive lineman. He had 7 sacks this last season. I mean, but it was against superior offenses. Like, I think he had 2 sacks against like Bowling Green or something. So it's not like, but when he played against top elite teams, you could see him get hemmed up a lot more. So talking about him being this like high draft pick in the first round, I don't understand it. But he is my 4.
Well, that's also my number 4, by the way.
But everybody, I understand he's from Pittsburgh and everybody's undersized, so everybody automatically goes to Aaron Donald. He is not Aaron Donald. I don't ever imagine him being close to Aaron Donald. I honestly wouldn't touch Clancy until the mid-second. Like, that's where I would have my grade is him as a mid-second round grade. I don't understand.
I disagree here. If, number 1, he's always getting the push. And when you're getting pushed as a defensive tackle, that means everybody else around him will get more sacks and tackles
Yeah, of course.
and of course more back throws. And so when combined that with the workout that he had, which he had an excellent combine.
Very much so. He was a combine winner.
So you got the tape, you got the workout. I got a late first round rate on this guy. I'm gonna go in the 25 to 40 range.
I mean, I'm not going to argue if he goes there because I understand the potential because of his numbers and everything else that he has done, he did, and everything at the combine. But his tape he never took over a game for me.
I'm pretty sure, sorry, not to get ahead of myself, but I'm pretty sure that when on the next one, if I know my number 5 is not the same as Little B's.
Are we 4-4? Are you
We're 4 right now.
I'm
so
shocked. We never agreed
diverse attack here.
This is a little confusing that right now we are agreeing to this point. But I definitely don't see you having this guy at number 5. And if you do, I'm shocked. But number 5 for me is Keanu Benton, the defensive tackle from Wisconsin.
Whoa! Holy
I like Benton.
Lord help me.
I like Benton a lot. Benton's one of those guys that doesn't stop.
I won't say where I have him, though. I won't say where I have him yet.
Okay. Apparently, hello then, compared to my number 5. Benton to me was one of those guys that he always won on the line. He was always pushing his guy back. He was getting pressures. If it was tackles for loss, or sacks, he's the one guy I don't have the sack number for. I can pull it up while you're talking about your 5. But Benton was one of those guys, even he was making running the game. He was out of the play. He was running and going down and making tackles downfield. So when I see my defensive tackle doing that, I love it. So Keanu Benton is my number 5.
Okay, well, you look up the stats on him. I will say number 5, and I know for a fact he's number 10. And that's my dude, Fighter. And he was the best quintessential tool, no tackle, and this, that. And you're talking about a lot of teams who play the 3-4 now, or some version of the 3-4, where they have a 3-4, nickel downs, whatever they do, they need a no tackle. And Fighter is still the best no tackle in this that. Besides that, then he had a terrible combine. And when he had like 12, what was it, the weight that he benched? 12 reps on the bench?
Which is shocking for what you see him do on the field.
Is that serious? That kept me on that one. I'm pretty sure Tyler, our former, podcast with, told me that he did 12 reps. Tell me that's not true.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. The combine.
12 reps.
But Benton had 4.5 sacks. He had 36 tackles and 10 more for loss. So, and he had 2 pass deflections at the line. So, and that was a senior. And every year he improved, which is exactly what you want to see from your players in college. Every year improving. His stats got better.
I love Benton. I think I something with the problem of not knowing what it put him.
But while the stats are loaded on NFL.com, my problem with Ika is that he is going to miss a lot of snaps. He doesn't have the conditioning. He played only 412 snaps throughout 12 games, which is about 34 snaps per game. You can round it up and say 35. So he's going to play about 50% of your snaps on defense. He's not a pass pat. He's a defensive tackle or nose tackle through and through. He's not going to play your.
I mean, I didn't say that's quintessential nose tackle.
He has a role, but he has poor conditioning. He runs slow. It shows on tape he runs slow. He misses tackles left and right. He has no sacks. He doesn't get to the quarterback. He does exactly what a nose tackle is supposed to be, but slow. And some nose tackles can get to the quarterback. He can't. And because of all these issues that I have named, he's a third round pick. You don't take him in the top 2 rounds. I can
don't
understand
know.
maybe reaching in the second. Not reaching, but mid to late second. Okay, take time to take him if you're a 3-4
Well,
defense.
didn't I say that Johnson was going to go from the 25 to 40 range? So that, in my opinion, iDL should go in the 35 to about 50 range.
Yeah, so he did not do the bench press at the combine.
Okay, well, maybe that was just a rumor that 12.
Yeah, oh yeah, he did not do it per the combine.
Oh, yeah, he has a torn labrum or something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, no, that's Nolan Smith. Sorry, no, that's Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith, yeah. But so that's your number 5. So we're starting to mix it up. My number 6. I'm looking at the name and I don't want to say it because I can't. Northwestern's defensive tackle.
I haven't been having him on my list, so I can't help you.
Adam Abawarn is his last name, I think.
Ovalare.
Huh?
Wait, Ovalare?
Yeah. I liked what he did on tape. He is definitely one
I
of
thought he was an edge.
He could, yeah, I mean, he could be a defensive end in a 4-3. He could be a 3-4 defensive end as well. I don't have a problem, but he's not a defensive tackle. He's definitely fit for that end role. He's another guy that I was really impressed with on tape. I really hate that I can't say his name, but we all know I can't say names.
Yeah.
But he was one of those guys that I was like, this for me though, the right now after 5, it's a drop. It just starts dropping. I really after the top 4.
I don't think and this next guy, I'm not the name.
I think this is a massive drop. I think once the 5 defensive tackle, like the top 5 defensive line didn't go, and it's just a massive fall because I like him, but this is a 3rd round grade guy. Like Clancy, Tua, Breeze, and Carter can all be 1st or 2nd rounders and early 2nd rounders. Benton, 2nd rounder, 3rd, I would argue, but all these other guys, 3rd, 4th, 5th. I really don't love this defensive line class. This is definitely a very top heavy and then nothing. But Abdoware, I'm sorry, I really am murdering your name. He's another guy that I can see him. I'm really excited to see what he can do. He's just a guy who was all over the field, making plays, getting in the backfield, winning, getting the push. So that's my number 6.
You know what? I totally believe that I don't have him on my list. Well, that's what happened. And my number 6 is Martin Smith. There is a guy who is a workout warrior. He had one of the strongest bench reps in the combine. His tape is a little mixed bag for me. On one hand, he's always near the ball, or he's always going away from the ball.
Yeah.
Like, he really runs himself out of plays, but like, he does some more refinement. And Martin Smith is going to be one of the best defensive tackles.
Mozzie Smith is my 7. And Mozzie, for me, was always the last guy off the line. Every snap I watched of Mozzie, he was the last guy getting up and getting going after the play. I was shocked on his workout numbers because the games I watched, I didn't see what he did as a freak athlete on the field.
He needs a better get off. That's what he needs.
Yeah, he needs a better. He's slow. He's always the last guy coming off the line.
But yet he's still getting the push, even when the linemen are coming forward at him.
Yeah.
If he's so slow off the line,
so slow off
he can still get up and get in there and get some push. But because he's so slow, like you were saying, he ends up pushing himself out of the play.
Yeah. Yeah. Mozzie, I could see it on tape, but I think he needs a defensive leader to, get more out of him. He might have he has the freak athlete numbers, but on tape, I wasn't in love with what I saw on tape from Mozzie Smith at all. But who's your 7? Because that was
my 7 is Darvin Dexter. the defensive tackle from Florida. And
My 8.
yeah, it's a little bit out here. And I think this, I really want him to look on him. Like, it's let me want him more. He's very big. And you know what? What's funny is the guy next to him, number 21, who everyone's going over as a tackle prospect in the next couple of years.
The big fat boy at 400 something
The big
pounds.
fat boy,
Yeah.
the skinny size boy, that moved off the ball more often than Northern Dexter did. And I thought that was impressive. That he didn't get pushed off the ball as much as the big guy, the fat guy.
My only problem, like you said, Dexter is really good tackling. He had 55 tackles. He had 50 and 55 tackles in the last 2 years. So he had 105 tackles from the defensive line spot. And, that's impressive. But he only had 8.5 tackles for loss. That just speaks to where he doesn't win on the line of scrimmage. He gets beat back.
Yeah.
And he has 4.5 sacks over the last 2 years. I do like Dexter. I do like him in the mid rounds. But like you said, the problem, he's a solid tackler. Once he gets your hands on you, he's not letting you go. You're going down. But he does get beat on the line of scrimmage a lot. And that is concerning for how big he is how bad he gets beat most of the time. He's not winning on the line. But go ahead. That was my 8. So who's your?
Yeah. So this is the guy that you said you had in your head when we were talking to himself. And this Keon White is going to be my guy at number 8 here. And I want to have him higher at this. I'm going to get him the line on the D line. It put me on the edge category, which is where I don't have him, but
No, and there's a lot of people who don't have. He's trying to sell himself as an edge. His tape speaks edge. He's a stand. I know he's big. He's like 280 something. That's big for an edge guy. But he runs a 4.7. So he has the speed to be that. He has good bend. But my problem was he's just a natural freak athlete. I don't know how long he's been playing football, but it seems like he hasn't been playing football for a long time. That's how it looks on tape. He looks lost.
So I think he's like completely on for as well.
Yeah, he looks lost on the field.
Where is he from? Look that up. Well, yeah. He's all right. Was on a defense where, he was lots of defense stuff.
Yeah, it does. It didn't help that he.
The defense was the only shining example for your pet that it's still on. And Keon White was the cornerstone of that.
He's old. He's 24.
Wow.
He played for Old
Dominion. He's not Hendon Hooker old, but he's pretty old.
Yeah, he played for Old Dominion for 3 years and then went to Georgia Tech.
Oh, okay. You know what? I do remember this.
He played high school football. He was a tight end defensive end. He got small colleges. He offers from Elon, Norfolk State, North Carolina, A&T, Virginia State. All small schools coming out. He's 6'5", 286. He's a massive human being. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But, he just turned 20. He was born in January 20th, 1999. So he just turned 24. That's old. People complain about quarterbacks being that old, and they don't want them. I understand edges.
Well, maybe that plays a little low on my list. Who's number 9, boy?
Yeah, but Keon White is edge for me. I'll talk to him when we get there. My number 9, hold on, I switch back over, is Zach Pickens, the defensive tackle from South Carolina. I like Pickens a lot. Okay. South Carolina puts out good defensive guys. We took Kingsley last year, who was an underrated edge guy who fell for whatever reason. He was always talked about as like a second, third rounder and fell into like the 5th last year. But Pickens is another big, massive body on the line. He is definitely a defensive tackle in any system. He's not going to be an edge guy. He wins off the ball. He has a quick snap. He's powerful and pushes back. I do like a lot of Pickens, but he is also, to me, was raw. He needs some more coaching. But who's your number 9?
My number 9 was really number 5, and Keanu Benson.
Oof.
For me, I just didn't know what I wanted to put him in. And he ended up. I just think that Keanu White is just better than him.
I think Keanu White's
explosive. We can think about what to put Keanu White. That would help.
He's like, I forget who we were talking about. Peter Storlansky from Northwestern. Whatever he is called out on, draft night will speak volumes on how that team views him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, if a team calls him as an edge or outside linebacker, that's what they're going to view him as. If they call him defensive line, it's going to be. But for me, I think he has everything to be an elite pass rusher. He is just super raw for me to take him in the first. And I know he's being talked about first round. And I didn't know he was 24. That kind of hurts me to take him of him that high because a 24-year-old. I mean,
oh come on! You want to take Hendon Hooker in the first round?
I don't want first round for Hendon anymore. Second round. Okay, let's just keep it realistic there. But yeah, my number 10 is Ika from Baylor. I've already mentioned he's everything that I need to say about him. He's gonna miss a lot of snaps. He's a big guy. Misses tackles, doesn't get pressures. He's just he can't handle. I mean, he takes on 2 bodies, which hopefully he does, but he's bad at beating 2 bodies.
Man, double teams, triple teams,
He is your prototypical defensive nose tackle from 30 years ago. You just want him. He's just gonna eat bodies.
I love him,
but he is, for me, that's a 3rd round pick. I'm not
gonna people want like a big football, right?
Yeah.
Like, if he did I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see him as Vince Wilfork. I don't think he has that. He doesn't have that athletic ability, and it showed during the combine. His numbers were horrible.
No, they were.
So who's your
that day? Who knows? My last one is Matt Pickens.
Okay.
And the pick was just enough for me to put him on the list. I really had to okay, let's see it.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys were just like, I think better defensive tackle classes.
Yeah, this is, like I told you, for me, it was a very weak defensive class. I know some people like Carl Brook from Bowling Green. I wasn't impressed enough to put him in the top 10. Doesn't mean he's not maybe in my top 12, but he was one guy I wasn't crazy in love with. But let's go ahead and move to the edge. I think it's obvious who
number 1. What everyone wants, right? Everyone wants the edge.
Wants the guy who gets to the quarterback. And that is the most important position besides the quarterback. And obviously the number 1 spot is Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. I don't think there's any arguments there. After
the show put on against Cincinnati, where he just bulldoze the right tackle, he bulldoze the left tackle, he bulldoze the tight end. Everyone that brought in, he just killed them.
Yeah.
It was a train wreck.
Yeah, it was very much so. Will Anderson just takes over, takes every.
And then everyone was like, "Oh, his numbers went down. He still had 10 sacks last year."
Yeah, exactly. Let's not sit here and act like the whole Alabama team played down last year. So I'm not going to take that and put that against Will Anderson. He is obviously, and again, I don't care if Jalen Carter didn't have the issues. I understand Jalen Carter is probably an overall better player, but a defensive tackle is not as important as the edge guy. And I'm taking Will Anderson, who's, easily an all-pro, Pro Bowler caliber edge rusher.
I don't know about that. Jalen Carter might be the next Aaron Donald, but now that we've seen that pro day, we're like,
Yeah, exactly. I think all that just makes him fall to the Bears at 9 and make the Bears look like a genius. But
Yeah,
this is where I
God.
think we're going to definitely separate. My number 2 is Miles Murphy. And it's clear that Miles Murphy is the number 2 edge in this class. You're with me here too, Chris?
I'm with you here.
Miles Murphy
number 2.
just jumps off at the tape. Like when you watch Murphy, he is quick, he has bend, he has moves, he gets to the quarterback, he gets in the backfield, he does everything. I don't understand why Miles Murphy is falling at all. I don't get why.
That's okay. Let him fall, baby. Let him fall all the way to the
right in the
Chargers.
laps at number 15 to the Packers.
Oh. Well, if you need one,
We
it was
do
not
need
good in the tan. But it good.
We can. We definitely when the Rodgers trade.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's one way in Rodgers.
Yeah. But Miles Murphy, clear for me. I love Miles Murphy. And he can play both sides. He rotated and played both left and right defensive outside linebacker. I mean, most guys can, but he can't. He has moves on both sides of the ball. And I know some guys prefer one side to the other side.
Yeah,
Murphy can do both. So Miles Murphy is
Miles
number 2.
Murphy is my number 2.
Do you have anything else to say?
Baller, man. Baller.
Yeah. All right.
It's nothing but quarterback. I don't know what he's going to be a top 10 pick.
So I have him here because of the potential. I'm not in love with him. I don't care what Davey has to say and Texas Tech has got to say. But Tyree Wilson, he was never impressive on tape. Or am I crazy? Like Tyree Wilson.
He's good at everything, but not really.
Exactly. Like I see that he has all the tools and he's the size and the weight and the speed and everything you want. But he is all potential. Murphy, to me, is a surefire. Wilson is, if we get the right coaches and we can coach him up just the tweak, just the right amount.
If he goes to New England, he's going to either wait for more.
He could be great. Wilson, but he needs to be coached right. Like Wilson is not a for sure thing. He is all about potential and all about everything he has. He has every tool. You're just having to sharpen them, if that makes sense for Wilson. I was never like Wilson for me, never won enough for him to be this high on the board.
Yeah, I mean, I want to put somebody else who I had at number 4 ahead of him, but Tyler Wilson does nothing enough putting good enough.
Yeah.
Putting number 3.
Yeah,
Just enough.
Yeah.
He's a 5-tool player, but all his tools are good, not great, like I said. And that's just good enough to be number 3 on this.
Yeah, exactly. For me, but let me just say this. I can see, and I told you in this pre-show before we went live, I can easily see 6 to 7 edge guys going in the first round. So
yeah,
even though
on my list, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, potentially 8 guys I see going in round all the way to pick 1.
Yeah.
From what all 8 of these guys I can see going
high. Yeah, here's my point. So I say first, like when I say first in the top 31 picks this year, because we do have, because of the Dolphins situation. But I can easily see 7, 8 of these guys going in the first. Most likely, I can see 7 easily going in the first. So just because I have these guys, does not mean, like for me, it's like, how the grading system happens, like 92.01. Then the next guy for me is like 92.00. It's like, I don't grade it like that, but that's how they are for me. It's like that minute of a difference between all my.
Yeah, we're not here at that here.
Yeah, we're not. But I'm not saying because they're how low, like where I have them in my rankings, that's how low I see them. I see a lot of these guys as first rounders. I just see that this is the way they should go off the board. And for me, Murphy should be in front of Wilson. I don't understand the obsession of Wilson being he's not going top 5. I can't. He's probably not going top 8 because of the quarterback's probably going 1, 2, 3, 4. But
I'm still going to go in that top 20.
He's going to the top 10, top 12 for sure. I'd be shocked if he follows past that point. But my number 4, I think you're going to be shocked. And that's Will McDonald, the fourth, coming out of Iowa State.
What?
Will McDonald, dude. He's going to be a first-round pick. He's going to be a late first. Will McDonald, I love Will McDonald's tape. He has the motivation, the motor. He wins off the line. He has a beautiful spin move. He, hands down, has the best spin move in this draft. I was like, Dwight Freeney. I mean, he probably doesn't have Dwight Freeney. Nobody beats Dwight Freeney's spin. But, I mean, that's how great of a spin move he has. And he just wins. And he had an amazing Pro Bowl. I love watching his Pro Bowl tape. Or his Senior Bowl. I'm sorry. His Senior Bowl tape. His combine was good. His tape is good. And I think all he did is solidify that he's going to go into the first round late. I really.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. I'm going to use like Alexis here and say he's not on my list.
You don't have Will McDonald on your list?
This may have been an oversight here.
What? Yeah. Yeah. When he goes round one, buddy, on draft night.
Yeah, it was a massive miss on my part.
I was going to look at you like, I told you so. But yeah, Will McDonald for 4 for me. How about you, sir?
Well, number 4 for me is definitely not Will McDonald, and Simmons not on my list. So it's Nolan Smith. And now this guy could have been potentially the top pick in the draft if he wasn't healthy. If he was healthy. But that injury to his labrum, it worries you. It worries you. He's going to have to redshirt probably. I don't know when he's come back.
He's doing all the drills. He's on the field. He's running.
Okay, well, maybe he's on the park for like week 6.
I don't even know if he
has. And even then, that's great for a team like, I don't know, the Bills, the Bengals. The Bengals is the team that is going to get Nolan Smith in the edge rusher. Yeah, this guy is a freak. That's all I can say. I've seen him on his tape against Linemen, and it was unreal.
Yeah.
It's the stuff he can do.
I'm trying to look to see if Nolan Smith will be ready to play for the NFL season.
I'm going to have to watch some Will McDonald tape, then the hater will have to update his list again.
Yes, you do. If you haven't watched Will McDonald, you need to go watch Will McDonald. But Nolan Smith is my 5. I really like Nolan Smith. I think he's for sure going to be, after his combine and everything he's doing and how everybody's saying he's interviewing, I think he's the first surefire back into the first round guy. I think his injury, he's going to be ready by NFL season. He might miss a couple weeks. I don't know. I can't find anything. I'm sitting here researching. I don't want to waste time. But I can see him being ready with how he was doing everything, doing the drills and practicing at his pro day. I don't see that he can't be ready by NFL season or even by preseason. Of course, don't know. That's team doctors. Obviously, if he goes in the first, if he goes high in the first, I mean, look at Jameson Williams, though, last year for Alabama. Everybody knew Jameson was going to miss the first 8 weeks, if not more, of the season, and teams still went up for him. Nolan Smith is the same factor. Nolan, even if he starts on the week of the Pope, you know you're getting a change maker, playmaker.
But game changer, man.
Yeah. So, and it's not like an injury that he can't recover from. There's injuries that you get, like the Liz Frank injury in your ankle.
Yes.
That's something you worry about.
That's something you worry about. But you worry about the injury that happened to Tua with his hip.
Yeah.
It's
a recoverable easy. Yeah. It shouldn't affect anything. So Nolan is easily a 10-sack guy.
How much, this is the label right here, how much does he need that? He needs that a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, he's fast enough.
You're constantly going like this.
Yeah.
And then constantly, how do you use that?
Yeah, you're easily. I mean, you have to tackle right there, too. I mean, there's things but I'm not saying it's something that should hold him back for years.
Is it like a pet or is it the labrum?
It's the labrum. I read it. It was the torn labrum.
Okay, yeah. Well, and that happened really in the mid-season, right?
Something like that, yeah. No, it's pectoral. I'm sorry, it torn pectoral muscle, not the labrum.
Okay, so that's this muscle.
Yeah.
That's even worse of when you. But that's easy to come back from.
It was late in the season. Yeah.
It'll take. Put there when you have.
He's gonna be great. I don't think that's something to hold him back on. So that was your number 4, my number 5. So who's your number 5?
My number 5 is Isaiah Folksy. The edge rusher from Notre Dame.
I on my list, but I wasn't in love with him.
This is massive. He's so big that I just think that he's gonna have a hard time blocking him.
Yeah. So watching Isaiah made me just realize how much more Paris Johnson and Dwayne Jones great they are, because they completely and utterly shut him down in the Ohio State Notre Dame game. Both of them, Paris Johnson or Jones, both had his number that whole night. He did not beat them once in anything. They locked him up, and that I understand that's not fair to hold that one game. I mean, I watch other games, but those are NFL high quality first round draft picks.
Yeah, and you want to see how that's not best goes.
Yeah, and he struggled against them. He lost.
Well, so did Will Anderson against the boy.
Everybody can have a bad night, but to see those two handle them just reconfirmed me more of them than it did him. And that's nothing against him. He's still a great player. He's still in my top 8, my top 10. But I mean, it just showed me that when he was going against higher quality caliber tackles, he struggled more. Doesn't mean he can't learn. But I did. That was a key factor on keeping him a little lower on my list. Is that he did when he went against first round draft picks.
Well, yeah, I mean, Will Anderson also got shut down by Donnell Wright. So
100% right. You're right. Will Anderson did. Everybody can have a bad day. I'm not arguing that. But I mean, he's in my top 8. He's number 8 for me. So spoiler alert. I mean, Isaiah Folksy is number 9. Sorry. But my number 6, and again, this reconfirms, but he did better against them, is Luca Van Ness, the Iowa defensive end. He struggled like almost everybody did against those two I just named, and Jones and Paris. But he at least had a pretty good night against them, or a pretty good game against them. He still had, a couple batted balls, a couple tackles, pushed them back and won. I like Luca, and I like Luca for me is another raw guy. He has all the measurables, all the tools that you coach him up enough. Not saying he is, but he could be a Watt. I mean, that's like watching him, I can see him being a Watt. He has the body type, the length, the motor of those type of guys. That I can see him being JJ, TJ, Watt level.
A Watt. I'm
not saying that. I mean, who they were in college, all right? But I like Lucas a lot. I see a lot of potential. He's another one that I like, and I wouldn't mind in the Packers. But what about you? Who's your number 6?
I got LSU.
Okay, LSU.
Well, LSU. You know what? I did a lot better with the boy. Okay. I think he don't run the defense. We know right now I don't run the defense. He's not a guy.
Yeah.
But his defenses have always been good. And I like his tape was way better than Van Ness.
I disagree. And I said these edge guys, there's gonna be 15, 16 edge guys going in the first 60 picks, and then it drops. It's a mess.
But when I was watching Van Ness, I was like, okay, and then I was looking at Jack Campbell. I'm like, oh, hey, Jack Campbell.
So you weren't paying attention to Van Ness. You were paying attention to
That's how much Van Ness was not laughing.
I disagree. I never saw Jack Campbell yet. I was when I watch a guy, I focus on more on him. I don't focus on other numbers.
I'm trying. I see something over here. I'm gonna look over here. Okay? Who's that? Who's that linebacker right there? He's so good.
So my number 7 finally is Keon White. Again, I said 7 guys go to the first round at edge. Keon White is number 7. Keon White, for me, is an outside linebacker through and through. I don't see anything of Keon White. Now, I mean, Keon is raw. Like I said earlier, he seems lost on the field. He's big. He runs fast. He's older, 24. There's a lot of things about Keon White that just makes me say he's 30, 31 and past second round, like in the second. Keon White is another you're going to need to sit down with a really good outside linebacker coach, a really good defensive coordinator, just the right coaching staff, and coach him up. Keon White, for me, is a massive project. He's like Anthony Richardson. It's like the Packers when they took Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary was in need, and he needed time. Keon White needs time. You can obviously play as an edge rusher, but I just think he's one of those guys that can get better year in year. That's why
I'm just over here trying to figure out how I'm going to say this name without messing it up. For my guy.
For number 7?
For number 7. My number 7 is a hard name to say, and what's make sure that Will Beagle definitely 100% fuck this up. And the name is Felix and the EK Obama. And I got it. And this guy, again, he lasts more than this did. And I'll spoiler alert, Dan F is next. He's not that far down the list. I'm pretty far, man.
Again, I think
like Obama is just, I'm really talking about him.
Van Ness is destined to be a Charger.
I'm gonna hate this. I'm gonna hate White all the way.
He is destined to be
LA Chargers. Van Ness.
Destined, sir.
The hater was like, oh, he don't laugh on tape. The thing is, Los Angeles Chargers select. Oh no!
I like Felix. Felix is number
say the whole name.
I really like Felix. Felix is another guy that was always, I think, splashing, or like you say, making splash plays, and flashing off tape and jumping off the tape to you when you watch Felix. He did a lot right, and I did argue, like, I didn't want to keep moving Keon White down. I was gonna put Felix in front of Keon White. But I had to put White somewhere that was reasonable and expects it where he should go. But I like Felix a lot, and it was just one of those, like, how do I keep moving Felix or Keon White down and keeping Felix, not moving Felix up? Because I wanted Felix at 7, I believe. I argued that maybe putting him above Lucas because I really like what Felix does. And Felix is another one that he played against top and Anton Harrison at Oklahoma and everybody, and he had good days and good games. He never really got shut down. He at least always was making an impact play against the teams he was playing against, and I really like Felix. So that was my number.
That's fan for me here.
Yeah,
I don't understand why everyone's so excited about this guy. He's good. I'm not saying he's not good. He's okay. He's not anything at the NASA. He's not. I don't think he's not that dude from Iowa. Everyone's like, oh,
he's
that's
better
an
than
Iowa Red Watson. He must be good.
He's better than AJ. It's not even a question. He's better than AJ.
He is not better than AJ at the NASA.
He's better than AJ. 100%. Sorry.
Well, this might be a put point for Wednesday.
You can't compare a college guy to a high school.
No, we can compare them as a prospect. Prospect only, though. As a prospect, who was better? And anybody at the Nationals way better.
Yeah, very much so. All right, so moving on. Hold on, I'm sorry. I was looking at
Number 9.
Number 9 for me is Isaiah Folksy. Again, like I said, I think this is about the right spot for him. He did get. He never flashed. You talk about Lucas. I was never like. I was sitting there like. I watched like 4 games of Notre Dame of him, and I literally had to just finally suck it up and watch highlight. Like, all right, show me something good. Show me where. Like,
No,
show me.
that was fan F for me. Show me some highlights.
Yeah, show me your highlights, Isaiah, because you're not doing it for me on tape right now. I need to see you do something. I don't do that. I don't ever do that. But Isaiah was one of those guys, and when I finally saw the highlights and him winning and doing the right things, I was like, all right, I get it. I now see why. But for me to go through 4 games and not see anything was like, okay, that's concerning. Like for your guy, like an edge guy.
An edge guy. If one thing to tackle, you're like, okay, that can happen.
Yeah, but your edge, I don't want my edge guy to be shut down that long. Like, he was never winning consistently, and that's concerning. That's why I have him low, is that he wasn't on a winning.
Number 9.
My number 9, yeah. But who's your number?
My number 9 is Derek Hall in Auburn.
Derek Hall, yeah.
And I don't know where to put Derek Hall. I think he's a better middle linebacker than an edge rusher, honestly. Whenever he wins, and he had a couple sacks from the Bama end, when he wins and he hits you, you're not getting up. He's a big guy. I just don't know. I just think that in the NFL, he might move the middle linebacker.
Yeah, very much so. All right, number 10 is BJ Olarji, or whatever his damn name. BJ Olarji.
Ojolari.
Ojolari.
His brother got drafted last year.
Yeah. BJ's a guy. I see it. He's another one that could easily be a really good edge rusher. He's another raw guy. He flashes. He does great motor. Never stops. If the play's on the left side of the field, he's on the right. He's going to the left side of the field and getting to the guy. You know, he has a quick first step. He does have a couple of different moves in his arsenal. He's not just a bull rush. He has a good spin move and a swim move and spin. So I like BJ. I think a second round, mid to late second round is a good slot for BJ.
Yeah, I see it. I see why you're low on him. All right, my number 10. Matt Harrison from Ohio State. And, Jalen Duncan was one of our favorite left tackles from Maryland. And it was later on in the game, I will say this, but that swing move that Matt Harrison has, that dip that he has, it's dangerous. And if he can master another move, Matt Harrison's going to be one of the best edge defenders in the draft.
Yeah. Zach, I like Zach, Derek Hall, Andre Carter. These are guys that are, like I said, this is a very top heavy.
Yeah,
I know you're not an Andre Carter guy, but there's just so many edge guys. It's hard to put these guys, and this doesn't say they're not going to get drafted high, but once day 2 is done of this draft, day 3 is just a crapshoot because honestly, this is the first 2 days are pretty decent, but depth-wise, this draft is pretty bad. This is a very
all the liners moves that didn't go in like the first 2 rounds will start going.
Yeah.
All the liners moves, all the corners. We haven't gotten to that yet. You're gonna have a hard time with the corner class because we're not gonna know where to put what, and then you're gonna have somebody in the top 5 and be like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. So that is it for this week.
And that was Wednesday, right?
Well, no, what is today?
Today's Sunday.
And you traveled.
Well,
Yeah, it's a lot. You
Wednesday,
traveled.
22nd.
So, yeah, we're doing linebackers, cornerbacks, and safeties on Wednesday. So,
Yeah.
it's going to be a fun time.
We'll finish this up.
And then after that week, we are going into we're going to do our 2-man mock draft.
Two-man mock draft, bro.
So,
I don't know how we're going to do that. Maybe we can do like a share like I can share my screen and then we can go on to like that mock simulator and then we can pick from there.
oh yeah, I think that'd be perfect. Yeah,
If you want to do that, or if you want to do, yeah,
that'd be perfect. We'll talk about that though next week when we get there. But again,
call it teasing, bro.
Yeah. Thank you again for listening to the Mocking with You podcast. We'll catch you on Wednesday. Don't forget Wednesday at 5 o'clock, right? 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock? I don't know. We'll see about that.
Okay.
I have to work, I have to make a living.
We'll say 6 for now, but thank you again. Catch you on Wednesday, y'all.
Thank you for listening to the Mocking You podcast. Yours truly, Lil B at Brunelli Sports and the Hater at Supercharged 33.